The following is a 95.1, 94.9 The Oasis presentation.
We love all cars, but we have a particular passion for the rare, high-performance and collector cars. The monthly Motorsports Gathering is a reflection of that. This is the Scottsdale Motorsports Gathering.
Good morning. We're here at the January monthly Scottsdale Motorsports Gathering, and we're here with Paul Tracy, a very, very well-known, famous IndyCar driver, raced at the Indy 500 many times. So welcome, Paul. Happy to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me out, Peter. It's a big crowd today, fantastic weather, and I think this is the biggest yet.
This is our biggest yet, and Paul, like me, comes from Toronto, and we're both very, very glad to be down here where the temperature's in the 70s and it's sunny rather than being back in Toronto where it's minus 30 with a couple of feet of snow on the ground.
Yes, much better being here.
It's very hard driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis in snow. So, Paul, as I said, you grew up in Canada. What was your first car?
My first car was actually a 1984 Pontiac Fiero. What my dad got me. And my dad was always a car guy, more of a British car guy. He had E-Type Jags, Rolls Royces, stuff like that. He had a couple Ferraris, but my actual first car was a Fiero, and I was racing go-karts at that time, and then started racing Formula Ford 1600s at Motorsports and Shannonville, and I thought this Fiero was like a little race car. I didn't have it very long because I crashed it a couple times on the street. So after that, I ended up with one of my dad's work pickup trucks after that.
Very interesting. So how did you actually get involved in racing in the first place?
Well, I started on mini bikes when I was a kid, just riding around in a field. We used to go. I lived in kind of the Scarborough area, and we'd go out to like Morningside in the 401 in a field and ride a mini bike around. And then one day I accidentally was kind of showing it off to a friend of mine in the garage, and I pulled the starter, and the throttle was stuck open, and the mini bike took off across the floor and went through the garage door. So my mom got home, and she was really pissed off at me, and then my dad took away the mini bike, and a few weeks later a go-kart showed up, and that was it. The rest is history. I started racing go-karts when I was 5 years old.
5 years old. Wow. Well, I guess that's the time to get started. When did you move to the United States?
I moved to Scottsdale in 1994. I was driving for Penske, and we just kind of happened to be out here all the time testing. We would go to PIR, and we'd go to Firebird, and we'd go back to PIR, and then we'd leave, and then a week later we'd come back. So I just kind of found myself here for most of the winter when I was driving and testing for Roger Penske, and then I just liked it here. I liked the area, and I liked the weather in the winter, because it's like it is today. And once I got a green card and everything, I decided to move to Scottsdale. Yeah,
there's a lot to like down here, that's for sure. Tell me, what do you regard as the highlight of your career?
There's a lot. Obviously winning the championship, the IndyCar championship in 2003 is obviously the highlight. There's a lot of highlights. Every race that I ever set out to try to win, I achieved. So individual goals, win certain races, were always I achieved that. But winning the overall championship in 2003 was the highlight.
Yeah, congratulations. That really was something. All right, let's switch hats a little bit. What's the worst thing that ever happened to you?
Well, not so much in racing, I don't think. I've gotten involved with a few women that made my life a lot of trouble.
Haven't we all? But no racing incidents that...
No, I pretty much went through my whole career. I had a long career, 25 years racing IndyCars, and I got hurt a couple times, but I never had a major crash where I was really laid up. I injured my back once and injured my neck once, but not majorly. So, I mean, I've had lots of crashes, that's for sure, but none where I've really gotten ever hurt.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. A lot of us here have Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Mustangs and Corvettes and cars that they'll go very fast. Some of them go over 200 miles an hour, but very few of us have actually ever done that because other than on a racetrack, you can't do it. You've driven at 230 miles an hour. So tell us what that's like.
Well, it's a thrill. Obviously, the fastest speed I've ever gone is I've gone 252 at Fontana Speedway, and when we had the big power, we had almost 1,000 horsepower with the IndyCars then and small wings. So, street cars, I've been close to 200 in a street car, but it takes forever to try to do it. But in an IndyCar, you can get up to that speed in literally under just over a mile wide open. So it's amazing thrill ride.
And you can stop at the other end.
Yes.
What are you driving now, Paul?
I have a 2017 AMG GTS, which is a nice car. I've got a exhaust on it and a little tune on it. It's about 650 horse, and it's a really fun car to drive.
Great. Tell me, what advice do you have for anybody who wants to get involved in racing, whether it's professional or amateur?
Well, there's an old saying: if you want to make a small fortune in racing, you better start with a big one, right? So,
very true.
Sadly, now that's kind of the way it is. But nowadays, for people that just want to have fun, now all these country club tracks are popping up around the country, and there's, you can go out to Firebird here, but there's a new track being built in Maricopa, Apex Motorsports Park, which is going to be break ground in April. So there's plenty of places locally where you can go out and take your exotic car, go out and have fun at the track, pal around with your buddies and have a good time, talk some smack to each other, and just have a good day at the racetrack.
Very good. Well, thanks, Paul. We really appreciate you being here, and all the best. Have fun with that AMG.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Don't miss the largest concentration of exotic sports cars in the country. Concourse in the Hills on Saturday, February 10th at Fountain Hills Park, a free event benefiting the Phoenix Children's Hospital.